Alright, what is up guys? Loser Manic here, and no hat today because I'm too lazy. I probably should have tied my hair back before we started or brushed my hair, but I'm just gonna stick with it anyways because today I have a build for you guys. I'm excited about this one. Sorry if I sound a bit tired. It is like almost 10 o'clock here. It was almost 10 a.m. here. So yeah, today I'm gonna give you guys a survival character. Let me up my brightness a little bit. This is one that I have not only gotten to level 50 with, but I have also blown up the Institute with this. So this is actually my first build that I have actually done beginning to end. Now, this one I'm gonna do a bit differently. Instead of giving you guys instead of giving you guys, and you have to excuse me, I'm making this a bit more organized. Instead of giving you guys the essentials and the optional stuff, I'll tell you guys the perks I use because this is survival mode. And I'm not gonna. This is gonna be a bit of a different build, I guess, because I'm not gonna tell you like who to side with. No sort of backstory, even though that I never do one because I'm terrible at those. But instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell you guys the perks I used, why I have them, in hopes that maybe you guys can better use them, or if you find sorry, my ADHD is kicking in. And also if you guys want to know of the perks I use, I'll tell you why I have them, just so that way I don't feel a bit stupid. So yeah, so this is my survival character. This is a stealth gunman character. I was very excited to do this one. It's not a sniper character per se. As you'll see in a moment, the perception is pretty low. But I'll tell you guys the special stats, the special book I used, and the perks I used, and why. I feel like some of these ones are pretty reasonable as to why, considering the fact it is a stealth gun character. So I'm not going to explain Ninja, Mr. Sandman, Sneak, and Rifleman. Just do know that I do have them here, and they are pretty self-explanatory. But some of these other ones, I will explain why I have them, just so that way you guys can understand. And I'll tell you guys the ending I did, and if you guys want to do this. And my shirt's on backwards. Oh well. Right, so the special stats are 6 strength, 2 perception, 3 endurance, 3 charisma, 6 intelligence, 7 agility, and 1 luck. The special book in Sean's room in Sanctuary will be put into endurance to help us get a boost on a certain a certain perk that we will use. Now, having that high of endurance does seem a bit strange for a survival character, because in fact this is my first one. I guess this isn't a permadeath character, but I'm not gonna explain any further. Just know that I just do know that I still did manage to die a lot. Just keep that in mind. As you'll see in a moment, one of these perks have required pretty high endurance, and just know that I did die quite often, even with this high endurance. So I think this is the part where I explain the fact that I did the peaceful Minutemen ending. This was the first time I've ever done it was on a survival character. And I must say, I did mess up only once, because you needed to be banished from the Institute and get the quest Burning Fire, or Burning Cover. But the only way to do that was I gave the holotape to, or I gave the Institute or the teleporter plans to the Minutemen, which was really helpful. So I did that, And then the railroad figured out that I went to the institute, and so I had to like say that I work with the railroad instead of the Minutemen. And then that's how I got burning cover. So I actually had to go back a save. Keep in mind, I had a save planned. Thankfully, I did keep it close to where you get banished from the institute, so it's not really that big of a deal, to say the least. But yeah. So the perks: Ninja, Mr. Sandman, Sneak, Rifleman, all the likes. You guys know. I am actually doing another stealth character with this build, but instead I am using pistols. Well, I am using rifles, but I am also using pistols. As you'll see, as I'll talk about in a moment as to why. So I guess the first proper on it perk that needs explanation is Gun Nut. Just because, consider the fact that this is a gun character, Gun Nut is very important to have to make your gun a bit better. My hair is all over the place today. And yeah, Gun Nut was very useful to have. Yeah. Next is Lone Wanderer, because Lone Wanderer I feel like is very important for survival mode. Because you can take less damage, so you can carry more, you can do more damage, and if you have the Far Harbor DLC, you can have more action points, which, I mean, isn't it fun to just have? Next is Chemist. I did use a lot of chems in this. Mostly Psycho and Berry Mentats. You did use Great Mentats on occasion, but that was just to pass speech checks. That was pretty much. I mean, obviously, what else could? Well, that and better prices and whatnot. But other than that, nothing too bad. With that, with Chemist, I took Chem Resistant. Because I don't want to have to use Addictol a lot. And it's Addictol. It's mentioned in the game. They call it Addictol, not Addictol. It's Addictol. Alright, Jesus Christ. Yeah, so Chem Resistant was very useful to have early on. I could take all the chems I wanted, and I'll be fine. Next is Strong Back. Ammo has weight, and your carry capacity is limited. Having Strong Back is very important to have. This one, you'd be surprised how like happy I was that this worked, that this build worked, because I was like, this is not gonna work, and then it worked, and I was like, fantastic. I was so happy. Yeah, so Strong Back, very useful to have. The more you carry, then the more damage it does damage to your legs, and I think back. And you take the occasional damage. So having the 4 ranks of Strong Back, I had the 4 ranks. The 5th rank is optional if you have the Far Harbor DLC. I think that's where you get it from. So yeah, the 5th rank is optional if you do have the Far Harbor DLC, and if that's what you want. But I did take the 4th rank. By the time I deleted the character, like at some point, I planned on doing like all the DLCs, but I ended up just doing like Nuka World, and I was like, I'll just delete the character and start over with pistols. So I have a rifle and a pistol character, but I'll talk about that in a moment as to why. And yeah, so Strong Back is also pretty useful to have. Now, the 4th rank does say that you can fast travel, but since you can't fast travel in peaceful or in survival mode, all it does is just gets rid of the negative effects that you get from carrying too much. And yeah, if I had known better, I would have taken the 5th rank. But here we are. Next is Cap Collector. 2 ranks of it. One of the guns I was using was Overseer's Guardian. That gun is fucking expensive. So with that, I got the 2 ranks of the Cap Collector, and I got that. Another weapon I used was the Problem Solver. The Problem Solver, this character was used to be like a long range and short range character. I'll go into more detail with it, but the Overseer's Guardian was my long range, and the Problem Solver was my short range. I'll go into more detail about that, kind of explain as to why. But yeah, so with that, I felt that. So, and given the fact that 7.52 ammunition is pretty damn expensive. It was pretty useful to have Cap Collector, both ranks 1 and 2. So yeah, next was Armorer. I did end up with 3 ranks, but that's just because I wanted better options. And to be honest, like, the only reason why I didn't get the 4th rank was just because I had Ballistic Weave, and I didn't really want that high of damage threshold, considering the fact that I already had like high endurance, as you'll see here in a moment. Yeah, armor is a nice thing to have, especially given the weapons I suggest that you use. Well, given the armor I suggest that you use, I think I said that already. It's pretty useful to have, pretty handy too. Next is Fortune Finder. I did have 2 ranks, but if anything, I would have gone the 3rd rank and make the 4th rank optional. So that's something you can do, if that's what you want. Sorry, I have like a mole or pimple on my elbow, so I'm trying to get it out. It's bothering the hell out of me. But yeah, so I did get Fortune Finder because since ammunition has weight, I didn't want to deal with Scrounger a whole lot because I didn't want to get so much. I didn't want to get all the ammunition, so I just stuck with Fortune Finder and called it a day. Next is Action Girl, or boy, but I say girl because that's who I played as. I played as a female. So if I ever say girl, just know that it also applies to Action Boy or Awkward Boy or Girl, whatever. Yeah, given the fact that a lot of the illnesses you get can cause AP regeneration to be slower, I figured I'd get Action Girl to counteract that a little bit. Plus, considering the fact that I was running around a lot. Oh, that's the one I forgot. Given the fact that I was moving around a lot, it made sense that I got Action Girl just so that way I can use VATS. I didn't use VATS like for headshots, more like body shots. Obviously with the perception of 2. Although a lot of you guys could say that like get the perception of 1, and then take that extra point, put it somewhere else. But to me, it was more the case of, and this could be like off. Maybe there's 1 point more. If in any case, you can put that book into wherever. But yeah, so but with Action Girl, I wanted to, since I used VATS, I didn't want to get that fast AP regeneration. So after I ran, I would just like sneak around and walk and all that. And then I would use VATS to target the body, which is very useful, and that's how I advise you guys play this. If you use VATS, don't worry about headshots rather than go for body shots because it'll work just as fine. Especially given the fact that once you reach the high levels of Rifleman, you're gonna be negating some enemy armor, which will be very useful, and body shots would be very helpful in saving ammunition as well. Yeah. So next we have cool. Scrapper. I got the first 2 ranks of. Now, the reason that is because, for me personally, given the fact that I don't want to, like, carry around a bunch of junk, so, scrapping items to get the stuff I need to upgrade my armor or guns or whatever the case may be, or to build, those decontamination arches in settlements, especially Hangman's Alley. The entrance I use for Hangman's Alley, I kind of put the decontamination arch at the front, just so that way whenever I enter a certain way, the way I always enter, I can, if I have any radiation, I can just walk through the decom arch, or arc, the decontamination arc, and then be rad free, and then I'll be on my way to do whatever I want, sleep, heal up, do whatever is necessary. Given the fact that Radaway kind of suppresses immunity, having a decontamination arc is very useful. Sorry, it's very useful to have. So that's kind of why I had Scrapper to get the parts from like laser weapons or plasma weapons to get the decontamination arc, as well as just like any shit I needed. Given the fact that I think the handmade rifle is very expensive to upgrade. Um, yeah. So I got Aqua Boy and Girl, which was the first. I got the first rank only because I don't care about the second rank. Given the fact that I was doing the Peaceful Minuteman ending, I needed all the health I can, just in case to I needed all the health I can when it comes to destroying the Institute with the Minutemen, and the only way to destroy the Institute with the Minutemen, you have to go underwater. But I just got this because I'm tired of getting like rads from swimming, and something like that would have been useful to have. Looking back, probably the third rank would have been, or the second rank would have been interesting to have, given the fact that I am a snake character. But I'll leave that one up to you. Next is Night Person. I got the 2 ranks, and yes, with the perception of 2, I managed to get Night Person. I wasted a lot of perk points trying to get that. But it was worth it because I got high intelligence and high perception, which wasn't important, but I figured since fast traveling isn't going to be that big of an issue, I figured let's just have Night Person, and then that way, I can turn in stuff at night, since that's the majority, and that's how I kind of roleplayed this character. I roleplayed it being a sort of character of the night. So I only go out at night, which sucks because the only way I could get ammunition was through Cleo, Daisy, and Percy. So Arturo is out of the equation. But hey, that's fine, because we have Cleo. But whatever. Yeah, next is Quick Hands. I only got the first rank of because I like fast reloads, and having something like Quick Hands really helped. And given the fact that I had quick reloads, like the quick mags, on my combat rifle and handmade rifle, it was just so nice to just like that, just reload like that. It was very useful. Second and third ranks I didn't worry too much about, because the second rank, consider the fact that I barely use VATS, and whenever I do, I'm always like reloading after every battle. So with that, I felt like having the second rank was completely unnecessary, and the third rank just gives you more AP. But consider the fact that I had the fourth rank of Lone Wanderer, I already have 25% more. I don't need any more, so there's that. And next, and this is probably the most controversial one ever, but just hear me out for a moment. I had moving target. Now, the reason I have moving target, and just hear me out for a moment, I know some of you guys are going to be judging me. The reason I had moving target was because of the fact that since this is a stealth character, if I ever get caught in a situation and I am gunned down, I can easily run to cover while they fire at me, and that means I won't have to die from simply running. So what moving target, and so you guys who don't know, moving target makes it to where whenever you run, you get 25. The first rank gives you plus 25 energy and damage resistance. Level rank 2 gives you 50 damage and energy resistance, and then level 3, which is I actually had, minimizes or limits the AP cost of sprinting by 50% or 25%. It's a very high amount, so it's probably 50%. And the reason I have this is because if I'm ever caught in a situation like in Quincy, if I'm like in the middle of Quincy, I can just run to a shadowy place, because I use shadowed armor, as you'll see in a moment. And then I can hide, and then I can take the advantage of Ninja and Mr. Sandman again, therefore allowing me to start all over again. And if I run to a shadowy place, I won't have to risk being caught. So yeah, that's why I have it. Some other ones you could do that I thought about doing, but then I deleted the character, was local leader. Since I am doing a Peaceful Minuteman ending, that is something you can do. You can do the local leader thing. Medic was one I thought about doing. For like stim packs and whatnot, since they heal really slow, but That's probably one I could do. I think I had like the first rank or whatever. I didn't put it down, but all that matters is that these are the perks that I had. I'll if you check the description, I'll have the list of everything. And yeah, as you'll also see down in the description, I do not have mentions of magazines or bobbleheads because I feel like I had the sneak bobblehead, the perception bobblehead, some of the other ones, the agility bobblehead, I didn't get the intelligence bobblehead because there was a bug in my game where to get you had to like lockpick your way. It was one of those like the intercom wasn't working, so I actually had to lockpick my way into the library to get the bobblehead, so I didn't get it, but you can definitely get the intelligence bobblehead. I do recommend it. One of the things I do advise that you do that I did wrong is do not get the strength bobblehead until you get your strength up to 10. And then you get the strength bobblehead to get it up to 11, so you're able to carry more. And plus, given the armor, I recommend adding one more strength to it could be very helpful. So now we can move on to gears such as weapons and armor. I'm going to explain these as early game and end game, even though it just depends on the rank or whenever, given how you play a survival mode. This is eventually what you'll want to end the game with, whether it's the Institute or whenever you do all the DLCs. However you want to do it, this is how I advise you do it. So early game weapons is going to be a pipe weapons and hunting rifle. Now you're going to notice that this character uses 2 weapons. I feel like I can go in a bit more in. So the weapons, since I recommend the pipe weapons and hunting rifle, this character uses weapons for long range and short range. Mostly something like, maybe like take the Quincy or the Gunner Plaza. That's what I meant to say. You can use like the hunting rifle. Since the hunting rifle is your long range, you want to use your long range weapons to clear out most of the enemies outside as quick and efficient as possible without being seen. Quick, quiet, efficient. I guess that's the way to put it. And then once you're inside, you can use your short range, in this case the pipe weapons, even though you definitely wouldn't want to use pipe weapons to clear out Gunner's Plaza. But just hypothetical here. Since the pipe weapon is your short range, and I advise not the bolt action or the revolver, just a standard pipe gun, you would definitely use the pipe gun on the inside to clear out enemies. And armor, I advise army fatigues and combat armor shadowed. Now, the army fatigues, it can be dirty, whatever. I just put army fatigues. I like the look of the army fatigues as opposed to the dirty. That's just my personal thing. Army fatigues give +1 to agility and strength, so you do get more carry weight, and you can sneak a lot easier. Given the fact that your agility is at 7, you're definitely going to need that high agility, especially early on. Given later on, I do. Same thing with the special bobbleheads for mostly strength, intelligence, and agility. I do advise that you get strength, intelligence, and agility up to level 10 before you get the bobbleheads, so you can be more effective with, so you take full effect of the special stats. More carry weight, you can get more XP, and you can sneak better. Charisma is one that's optional. If you are one of those that are, or if you're patient enough or stupid enough, you can, instead of using the special book on endurance, you can just run straight to get the endurance bobblehead. But I definitely advise that if you do this character, you do get Chem Resistant. Unless you find junky weapons, then disregard what I say. You can definitely use Chemist, though. I definitely do advise you use Chemist. That's the whole reason why intelligence is that high up, even though I think Chemist is 7. Whatever. Just make sure that whenever you level up, you do get, you're able to get Chemist as quick as possible, though. That is what I advise, at the very least. And yeah. So Army Fatigues give you +1 strength and agility. My ADHD dragged me away for a second. And it's going to be very useful to have for more carry weight as well as efficient sneaks, especially like I mentioned before, early on. And combat armor. The reason I say combat armor is because you get equal damage resistance and energy resistance. Kind of like leather armor or synth armor, where it has more damage, it has more energy resistance, and metal armor and robot armor have more damage resistance. Combat armor is the middleman. You have if the combat armor piece has 15 damage resistance, it also has 15 energy resistance. So you get more bang for your buck. Although you could switch it up and be like, okay, I'm destroying the Institute, I'll use leather armor or synth armor since you get more energy resistance. You could get the refractor perk, but that's like really high perception, and no one's gonna want that much. Because in fact you have all these wonderful perks with you. And yeah, shadowed, because this is a sneak stealth character. Having shadowed and hiding in shadows is very useful to have. And it kind of adds to the mystique of the character, where if you roleplay this character, then once you, depending on your personal goal, for me, I did night person. Whenever I got to night person, I traveled only at night, or tried to. I'm terrible at that stuff, but I was pretty good for the most part. I handled myself pretty well in that regard. But if you do roleplay this character, if you do want to roleplay this character, you should definitely only travel at night. But like early on, I wouldn't advise it. That's why I gave myself night person as the goal, because around that time it was pretty like late in the game for me, anyways. Late in the game, or like late level, whatever. But yeah, so there's that. And then your end game weapons is going to be your Overseer's Guardian with the sniper mods. So you got to make your Overseer's Guardian a sniper. And then I use the Problem Solver modified to be as light as possible, which means I use the wooden pistol grip. Well, I use the pistol grip. I used the improved version because my game was buggy as fuck, and it told me I had all the ingredients or all the building materials, when in fact I did not. But hey, good thing searching is a thing. So yeah, Overseer's Guardian. The reason I chose Overseer's Guardian as your sniper as opposed to your close range is because the Problem Solver adds. The Problem Solver has the Furious Legendary effect, which fits more in terms of like as sort of a close range, while the Overseer's Guardian seems to fit more as a sniper, because in fact it's a 2-shot, or it's it's the 2-shot legendary effect, which makes sense for a sniper. So that's why I kept it. You could obviously switch it around, but this is what I used. You don't have to use that. That's just what I did. And then armor. Depending on how you like it, you can do the Ballistic Weave Army Fatigues, or you can do the Torn Shirt and Jeans for the extra nice look of it. My character was sort of like gothic and whatnot, had like all the eyeshadow black and like lipstick, and had the unladylike hair with the like jet black hair. So she was very emo, gothic, whichever one that one is. I don't know the difference. So yeah, so having the torn shirt and jeans kind of fit in pretty nicely with it. And I also had the heavy combat armor with the ultra light mods. I did try the pocketed, and it just bothered the hell out of me, so I made them all ultra light mods, and obviously shadowed. So I do advise the ultralight mods, especially considering the fact that you get more action points from that. Given the fact that you can use VATS occasionally, having something like that is very useful. And yeah, so the Ballistic Weave Army Fatigues is just one of those where, like, if you just want to stick to Army Fatigues, you could also do the baseball uniform, but having shadowed armor just with like baseball outfit just makes it seem a bit weird. So having the Ballistic Weave Army Fatigues, or I guess for Under Armor, if you can manage, you can do whatever you want. You can do the military fatigues if you want more sneak. If you want more sneak succession or efficiency, I guess. But I stuck with the Army Fatigues and Torn Shirt and Jeans. I mostly did the Army Fatigues depending on like how difficult I was or how tough I was struggling with carry weight. And then, because the torn shirt and jeans give endurance, although I guess I probably should have used something else. I mostly got it because I was a big fan of the gloves that they add, and I just think stuff like that is very cool looking. But I guess the torn shirt and ripped jeans would be even better, but you do you. And then heavy combat armor because or if you don't want to like too high damage resistance, I guess you can just do like sturdy combat armor and ballistic weave army fatigues, but I didn't really care. I like the look of the combat armor, the heavy version. So I did the heavy combat armor with torn shirt and jeans, and called it a day. Shadowed, obviously. For a time, I did consider using the synth field helmet, but the issue with that is it just looked weird for my character. So yeah, with that is this build. Obviously, bobbleheads sneak. All the special bobbleheads, just do keep in mind that with strength, intelligence, and agility, that you do get those up to level 10 before you get the bobbleheads. I just rushed in straight away, especially with mostly the strength bobblehead, because like the agility bobblehead's all the way down south, and the more south you go, the more dangerous it is. I guess it's the more east you go, the more dangerous it is. And yeah, if you guys do want an ending for this, I do advise the Minuteman ending or the Minuteman peaceful ending. Just because, the reason I did that was because for the Brotherhood of Steel, I wanted the vertebrates, that way I don't have to walk from like the glowing sea to like green tech genetics so many times. The railroad, because I like the railroad in the ballistic weave, and the Minuteman because to keep both of those, endings or factions, I had to side with the Minutemen. So, plus I wanted to be nice to the Minutemen, even though, if I'm honest, I got Preston Garvey's affinity perk, and then I started with the Nuka World Raiders. Speaking of, if you do want to do the Nuka World DLC, I do advise siding with the pack and the operators. Because the pack has a pack alpha perk, which is really damn useful, and the operators have the ace operator perk, which has increased damage to silenced weapons, which in this case is pretty useful to have. And they make it to where you are more hidden in shadows, or harder to see in shadows. And given the fact that you have the shadowed armor, it is very useful to have. I did think this through, which I wasn't thinking with this character. The past couple of times that I did a character for like survival mode, I was just thinking really hard. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll sacrifice this for this. But with this, I was just like, okay, let me just roll it out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And this actually worked out so damn well. I was really happy with this. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought, or what you guys think in the comments down below. As for Far Harbor and Automatron, I'll let you guys do those. Given the nature of this character, considering the fact that they are doing the peaceful Minuteman ending, it would make more sense for there to be peace across the island and to keep the Mechanists alive. But I do leave that up to you, coming from the fact that I sided with the Nuka World Raiders. But hey, I did destroy them at the end of the day. So I guess no harm, no foul. I just got their perks, and called it a day. So yeah, so with that, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and if you do play survival mode, hopefully you guys do enjoy this build. If you do, or if you did, make sure to leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to be notified. Hit that subscribe button to support the channel. If you do subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified as when I upload, because I don't have a schedule, obviously. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Tell me what your Let me know. Tell me what your survival build was, and if you guys want more survival builds. I definitely do want to make more. Considering the fact that most of my Fallout, I think all of my Fallout New Vegas builds are hardcore mode, with only one of them being a very hard mode. Although I think that's how you should play it. If you do hardcore, you should definitely do very hard. With it, but yeah. So this may be something I do where I just do nothing but survival mode characters, even though you'll see very recurring themes such as Chemist, Chem Resistant, Strongback, Lone Wanderer, all that stuff. But yeah, if that's something you guys do want to see, I would definitely do that for you guys. Just let me know what you guys want. If there's a certain one in mind that you guys have, I have thought about doing like a very joking build, but I'll have to see how I can pull that off. But yeah, with that being said, Losing Manic out.